with that, we will now head over to our Storm. Yes, pardon me. Our Storm here, who the offseason's been interesting. Obviously this is a team that continues to build, right? And really establish themselves and look for a new identity without two Hall of Famers in Sue Bird and Breanna Stewart. So we'll go straight to it. February 20th, the team signed point guard and former draft pick Jade Melbourne. She was Seattle's third-round pick in last year's WNBA draft, and we're reporting to the team for this upcoming season. Melbourne turns 21 in August. Wow, she's younger than me. Jesus Christ. I know a lot of people that are watching this are like, yeah, well, all of these athletes are younger than me. I apologize. All right, this is still weird to me. I digress. Melbourne turns 21 in August, as I mentioned and made a comment about. Is one of the top young talents from Australia, having played 27 games for her country, including 6 with the Opals as a 19-year-old, where she helped the team to a bronze medal at the 2021 FIBA Asia Cup. Later in that year, she helped the Australia U19 team earn silver at the FIBA U19 World Cup, averaging 12.6 minutes, 3.4 assists, and 12.6 points per game over the course of 7 games. She started all 17 games this season with the Canberra Capitals of the WNBL, averaging 13 points per game, 5.7 rebounds per game, and 5.5 assists per game in her 3rd season playing professionally. On Saturday of last week, she recorded, not this one we're recapping, but the week before that, she recorded just the 3rd triple-double in the WNBL in the past 10 seasons. I marked myself with my pen. Oopsie. In the past 10 seasons with 19 points, 14 assists, and 12 rebounds in a tough loss, 78-72 to Adelaide, having accounted for 51 of her team's 72 points. It was her 3rd straight game scoring 19-plus points and marked her 4th points, assists, double-double. Last summer, she averaged 20.7 points per game, 8.7 rebounds per game, 4.7 assists per game, and 2.2 steals in 19 games with the Ballard Miners of the NBL 1. This is normally where I would recap that move, but we have a few other moves, and then we're going to talk about them as a whole. The team signed point guard Ivana Dojkic. She's a 25-year-old point guard, 5'11", from Rijeka, Croatia, and she's in her 9th season of professional basketball, having played her first season with Zagreb in the Croatian league as a 16-year-old back in 2013-14. She's in her 2nd season with Virtus Segafredo Bologna of Italy's top division, averaging 13.6 points, 4.4 assists, 4.1 rebounds, and 1.4 steals per game this season. Through her team's run during the current season's EuroLeague regular season, she's averaging 12.2 points, 3.1 assists, and 2.7 rebounds in 9 games. If it was 12, that'd be pretty impressive. She has represented her home country on the international stage since joining the Croatian U16 team back in 2012. She's played 18 games for the senior national team, having averaged 16.2 points, 3.4 assists, 3.2 rebounds, as well as scoring 42 points with 8 assists and 7 rebounds in 2 games in this year's FIBA Eurobasket qualifiers. The 3rd and final move that the team made was on February 24th. The team signed forward Jasmine Walker. Walker was a first-round pick, 7th overall by the Sparks back in 2021 out of Alabama. She appeared in 2 games with Los Angeles before a knee injury ended her season as a rookie. Walker returned to action in 2022, playing in 32 games while only making 1 start. She was traded to Connecticut back on January 16th as part of a 4-player deal, but was waived by the Sun on February 20th. After the 2022 WNBA season, she played for Morovis of the Puerto Rican BSNF League, averaging 16 points and 8.6 rebounds per game while shooting 42.6% from the field across the span of 14. She is also playing with the Athletes Unlimited League in Dallas, where she recorded 7.6 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block, and 1 assist in 23, almost at 27. Those are two entirely different numbers. 23 minutes in the first game of the event back on Thursday of the past week. Walker was a standout while at Alabama, recording 21 career double-doubles and was a 2021 Katrina McLean Award finalist, which is awarded the nation's top power forward. She averaged 19.1 points and 19.4 rebounds per game as a senior, while shooting 43.7% from the field, leading the Crimson Tide to the second round of the 2021 NCAA tournament. Walker, also holds the school record for single game scoring, tallying 41 points at Auburn back on February 14th of 2021. That was a mouthful. So it's interesting, this crop of three players, right? Because you've got Melbourne, who I expected to see with the team this season after the Storm did the thing they did with Ezi Magbagor, and they said, hey, we're going to draft you, but we want you to continue your development first before we bring you onto the team. And with the loss of Sue Bird to retirement and Breon January to retirement, and you're not getting Courtney Vandersloot, the point guard position was, wide, very wide, needed to fill that. Noelle Quinn said that Melbourne has unlimited potential, so obviously they're excited about her. I'm excited about her. Unlimited potential is a big thing, and it's a big standard to set for a 20-year-old right now. But I'd really like to see Melbourne play this season, see what she's got, see what she can do in the W, and with this team that really doesn't have an expectation. With Dojkic, 25-year-old's not old, and another European player trying to see what she's got and see how she can. She's only on a training camp deal, so obviously her window is kind of having to prove things. But looking at stats wise and seeing what she's been able to do in her current season, I think is solid, and I think she might be able to come in and contribute. Walker is like 1B of the three. I'm like 1A on Melbourne just because of how excited I am to see her play, considering some of the things with her and her being a draft pick. But with Walker, you look at her career at Alabama there. Obviously, you look at the LA situation where she got injured and then she got traded. Just like some of the players we talked about earlier in free agency for the Storm, it just seems like Seattle is taking a bunch of flyers on players who have a ton of talent, were great in college over a few years ago, and the teams that drafted them didn't really give them a chance or didn't have a roster spot for them. And now they're going to really be looking to prove themselves and prove any doubt, prove why that decision was wrong for them to not stay on that team. So I'm excited for Walker to be there as well. There are a bunch of players like Garantes, Kayla Charles. So, I'm a fan of that. I really am. And again, I have excitement for this roster and this team. I think they can do some things. Obviously, we have to get to training camp first and not get too excited. But I don't know. It's interesting. And I just talked about, teams not having roster spots for draft picks. The Storm have 3 picks in this year's draft. In the first round, they have the 9th overall selection. The second round, I apologize, that's 4 picks. I can read, I swear. It's been a long weekend, man. I apologize. It's 5 a.m. We're getting this done because we're going to have media day today, and I wanted to make that. So the Storm have 4 picks in the WNBA draft. In the first round, the 9th overall pick. In the second, the 18th and 21st overall picks. And in the third round, the 33rd overall pick. The WNBA draft is presented by State Farm. It's going to be held on Monday, April 10th. It will be announced live on ESPN with exclusive coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. It will also be available live on the ESPN app. So 4 picks. I honestly, not being sarcastic, not trying to make any – sorry, get Willis back in focus here. There we go. I'm interested to see how many of those 4 selections actually make the roster and actually get a chance throughout the course of the season, because obviously they could be drafted and then they might not sign, but later on in the season they might be brought on. So I'm really interested to see how many of those 4 actually make the Storm roster. Oh, I think the trick is I'm not supposed to actually lean that far back. I apologize. This is why we have a studio and why I'm not a director. I sit in front of the camera and look pretty. So that's it for our Storm segment.